Hello guys, welcome to the episode number 16 of Embracing the Human Experience, the podcast I do with Mugdha. My name is Avinash.
And this is Mugdha, and we do this podcast in an attempt to share our insights about how we've navigated life so far, what makes us stay in a state of flow and keeps us peaceful. And today we're continuing with the series that we started on, the keys that give you more flow in life. Basically, I think episode 12 and episode 13 was us briefly touching on each of these.
11 or 12.
11 and 12, and then 13 onwards we went deeper into each. So we've covered time, we've covered emotions, we've covered money.
Yes.
So far. So please go watch those episodes if you really want to learn more about each of these keys. Today we're going to talk about something which is self-knowledge. And
self-knowledge. No?
I don't even get some of the jokes, but anyway, we're going to talk about...
Okay.
What? No, please break it down for me.
It's fine. No, it's like memes. I don't get your memes. So I have to acquire more knowledge.
You're the only one who doesn't get my memes. Like, guys who are watching this, please tell me if you guys
go
like
and watch your memes, please.
If you have not laughed at my memes yet, and if you think my memes don't make sense, please send a DM to Avinash. Otherwise, send a DM to me. But I think my memes are very, very smart and they're very funny. So this is nowhere close to that. I don't even know what was the joke you were trying to crack. Okay, so why are we discussing this topic of self-knowledge? Why have we put this as one of the keys that will create flow in life?
So what I have understood now of the whatever little knowledge that I have acquired last few years, that everything revolves around you. You are the center of universe. Like a lot of people talk about being some sun or some galaxy or some planet or something, that universal consciousness. Some entity is there, supremely powerful and all knowledgeable. For me, it is me which is the center of everything. So as I know more about myself, I find it easier to navigate in the system itself. Okay, the fundamental question itself, why do I exist? So unless I satisfactorily answer that question for my own understanding, I won't be able to live in this world. Every time, whatever I do, I will keep asking that question. Why are you doing this? What is the purpose of even recording this podcast? What do you want to achieve out of this? So going inwards, connecting with your own self, understanding and knowing more about yourself, so that you find out what you stand for, what you are supposed to do, what is your life purpose onto this planet. So that can only happen when you start questioning the basic fundamentals. And that no teacher or no guru or no Baba is going to tell you how you're going to do that. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone is supposed to follow their own instinct, own path, own guidance, own pointers. And for that, what you can practice is a mindfulness, being aware of things happening around you, being aware of the cues, being aware of the clues that you get from all possible sources. And then you go deep inside and talk to yourself and find out what exactly you want to do. So understanding self-knowledge is important from that point of view. It helps you navigate onto this planet. It makes your life more bearable, for lack of any other word. Otherwise, you start questioning everything. It's like you don't need to exist. Like you don't serve any purpose to this planet. But within that no purpose to purpose zone, what we are seeking those answers, we are finding those answers, and that can only happen when you know more about yourself. That's what the self-knowledge is all about for me. What do you think? You keep learning so much about yourself, your mind, emotions, and you take that conscious effort to going to therapists, going to counselors, talking to all the people, knowledgeable people, listening to podcasts, so many things you do. So why do you do that?
To know more about myself. For the simple reason that the more I know about myself, the more strength I will have. And where does that strength come from? It comes from the love I have for myself, right? So the goal is to really understand who am I, right? Why was I created? What is my purpose? And the purpose keeps shifting. This is something I keep telling people, that there's no one purpose that we have. I think I'd mentioned this in some earlier podcast that we recorded also, that for like the first 7 years of my daughter's life was like my purpose was to be her mother, to be there, to nurture her, to bring her up, to provide food and keep it safe. That purpose is not there. It's irrelevant now, right? She's not here, I'm not with her. So my purpose as a mother is like that same purpose is not there. When I was working full-time corporate jobs, my purpose was to kind of take care of the companies I was working as HR with, like make sure the employees were happy and like kind of in a good place for the work they were doing. That's not my purpose anymore. So our purpose keeps shifting based on who we are. And knowing who we are becomes really important for you to understand what are you supposed to do when you wake up. So every day that you wake up is a gift you get. In fact, I mean, I can break it down to every breath, because just waking up doesn't ensure I'm going to be alive by the end of the day,
next
right?
breath is your life.
So every breath I get is a sign that, oh, I'm still of value to this entire universe. At least physically, I'm of value to this planet, to the other humans and the other beings on this planet. So I'm still being kept alive. So that breath is a gift. And that every breath, if you are like, okay, I'm still breathing, here am I, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Answer comes from a deeper understanding of who you are, right? Because if you know who you are, you'll know what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, what happens if you don't know who you are, what you're supposed to do gets dictated by the people in your life.
Yes.
We've seen this with so many of our clients. I saw this with my own life.
Everyone, like even
your life also, right? Until I stood in the center of that knowledge of who am I, my life was dictated by the people in my life. Parents, teachers, husband, even daughter, employers, right? Everyone else told me what I should be doing with these breaths that I have, with this physical body that I have. The minute I started trying to ask, but who am I, right? Then that knowledge came. Initially, it was like, oh, I have this ability to heal people, so I'm a healer. And then I realized that I have this ability to kind of create a business and run a company and like make it grow. So I'm an entrepreneur. So that knowledge of who I am gives me the ability to do what I do. How I do it is next, right? So when you ask why is it that I do so, why do I take so many conscious efforts to keep learning more about who I am, is simply so that every breath here can give more and more value. Like when I was married, no, the value my breath was generating was maybe for a family of 3 and for the company that I was working and maybe my parents and like my sister, like very small scale value, right, of that breath. But now every breath that I take and I exhale, that value is it's huge, right? Only because I could discover who I was. So my existence can create more and more value for as long as I'm alive, the more I find out about who I am. So that's really I want to learn. Like that's what drives me to want to learn more about myself, so that through my knowledge of who I am, ek to I can live my life the way I want to, and second is I can create more value for the world around me.
And as you rightly mentioned that purpose changing, no? Like I am from a oil industry.
Yeah.
So there are multi-purpose oil and multi-purpose greases. You know, our existence also has multiple purposes. It can't be one purpose. Like even if you think about career or kids or marriage or whatever, so it is going to end at some point. Like even your partner or your siblings or whosoever is there, at some point you are going to move away from your initial purpose in life. Like you mentioned, like the kids you have limited purpose in their life. After that, what? So most of us are driven by that single-minded focus. I have to do something in my life. Once that is done, there is no purpose, and it is too late to find another purpose because it's hard work. It requires a lot of inner work, going inside, learning and
unlearning also, and letting go.
Letting go of
you have to let go of an identity. People find it so fucking hard to let go of an identity, right?
That way, your lubricant or greases was better. Multi-purpose means it can serve different purposes at the same time in the same place. So it can cool, it can heat, it can provide lubrication. So I like that word, multi-purpose. Humans.
We are supposed to be multi-purpose.
Our multi-purpose is like you finish one purpose, then you start another purpose, or many purposes can go simultaneously.
Oh, they can simultaneously coexist. No, see, look at my life now. One purpose I serve is being this entrepreneur, CEO of the company, running a business.
Yes.
Second purpose I serve is working as a healer one-on-one with people for the psycho-spiritual aspect, the mental, emotional, spiritual aspect of this. So that's another purpose. There are some people who only specialize in that. Third is I also work as a nutritionist on some cases, right? Like there are some complicated cases that I willingly take. So I'm working as a nutritionist, not doing any psycho-spiritual work there. Fourth purpose is also like I am taking care of myself, like just taking care of this body, learning what it takes to do all of that. Fifth purpose is I'm also somebody's partner, your girlfriend, for example, right? So it is a purpose. I'm serving a...
I didn't know this is your life purpose.
It's not my life purpose, it's one of the purposes, right? Like I serve the need of someone like you wanting a partner in which you can have a sufficiently evolving, growing, safe relationship.
Yes.
You serve the same purpose in my life as my boyfriend, partner, whatever we want to call ourselves. So that is one more purpose I'm serving, right? Then I also serve this purpose of like one is like the CEO running the company, being like really hard-nosed and like really ruthless there. Also I'm serving this purpose as like the chief guardian of the culture and doing this fun stuff and doing all of that, right?
And at the same time adding value for the shareholders also.
Yeah, so that...
So business.
Yeah, so exactly, right? And then I'm also serving this purpose for some people in their lives of being this friend whom they can turn to when like things get really hard, right? So I serve many purposes in life.
But that is the role you play for, some higher purpose. These are, I mean, you can call it a purpose for the shortest time.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be a mother, or I want to be an entrepreneur or a businesswoman. But all these are contributing into something a bigger purpose. And how do we discover that? How do you not lose sight of that? Like when we are doing all these rules, like so many people are doing this stuff.
So you spoke of multi-purpose lubricants and greases. My current analogy was in comparison to that, right? If you ask me my true purpose.
So these are not, I mean, for me, these are not purpose. These are maybe a short-term occupation. Okay, this
but
is
you're
what
living
the
with
role
purpose. You're doing it with like purposely.
So
You're doing
purposely, what is it that is you're serving?
That is like from the soul itself, right? Like I can't exist if I'm not serving
so in
my
this
soul
physical form, there are different roles that you play. Ultimately, you're serving what your spiritual purpose was.
So all the self-knowledge I gain is in understanding of that soul only. What is my soul here for? What am I supposed to do in this lifetime? So that is ultimately the work I do, right? Like really connecting with my soul and fulfilling that soul's journey and that soul's purpose. That is the self-knowledge, the knowledge of my soul, my consciousness. What is it that I am doing here right now? What has created my journey so far? And where am I supposed to go in the future? That is a self-knowledge that I'm always permanently, perennially chasing. Like the one that you refer to.
I mean, you mean to say that there is a deeper purpose, bigger purpose, which is driven by the soul, and then based on your position in the hierarchy of the systems that this planet has, you break it down into a smaller purpose, but ultimately it is leading you towards...
So the smaller thing, that multi-purpose thing is this, the smaller things that I spoke of, right? What doesn't change is...
So how does it start? Does it start with the bigger one, or it starts with the smaller one leading to the bigger one?
I think we all are doing smaller things, whether we know ourselves or whether society has told, right? If you're alive, you're serving some purpose.
How you're serving someone else's purpose. That is also you don't know your purpose.
But the true journey really starts when you ask that soul level question. Who am I? Why was I created? Why am I alive? That's where the self-knowledge really comes in, right? It's direct source knowledge streaming into your head, mind, brain, heart, wherever it streams into your consciousness, right? That self-knowledge is what really helps you serve all of these other purposes with joy and with boundaries and everything that we spoke of, like make sure like your energy is protected, make sure that you're getting money while you're doing this. So to me, it's really, that is the self-knowledge, right? Like an understanding of that seed. What separates me from source? There is one universal consciousness and there is me as a separate particle of that consciousness. why am I separate, right? What qualities of source are imbibed in me, right? What original imprint of the mother template is there in me? And if I'm separate, then why was I separated? And as a separate particle, what am I supposed
What
to
are
do?
you supposed to do?
Right? So that is really the line of questioning that I am always like, it's constant subconscious
So
questioning
it's
going on.
that self-knowledge discovery is more of a journey rather than a target or a purpose.
That is the journey
It's
of life.
a journey of life, discovering yourself, knowing more about
Making
yourself.
money is not the journey. Managing time is not the journey, right? Understanding your core values is part of the journey. But the real journey is getting closer and closer to the deepest understanding of who you are when you were first separated from source. That moment, right? Like you were part of something large, and in a moment you were separated. So that knowledge of that moment of separatedness, what because that's where you became you, na? Otherwise you were part of something larger. So your self-knowledge is really of that moment. And then, like, when you say it is journey, you can look at all the different ways in which you are absolutely unaware of your separatedness, all the different ways in which you are absolutely unaware of your unitedness, and all the different ways in which you could possibly go and merge again. So it's really, that is the journey, right? That's the path at least I am on.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very interesting point you made, you're being part of a larger this thing, and then a part of you has decided or was asked to come to this planet and experience the human life. That is what our podcast is all about, embracing the human experience itself by being a spiritual, you're by virtue of being a spiritual being. So when we are looking at our life as a spiritual being or as a human being, so this spiritual being doesn't need those keys to navigate onto this planet. A human being definitely needs some keys to navigate on this planet, because spirit doesn't need food. That takes care of all the other requirement for being human. So in this densest form that we are in as a human, we have that innate desire. This form allows us to connect to our soul. Otherwise, we are part of, which is all knowledgeable. There is no gap that knowledge needs to be filled. In this form, can we connect to the universe? Can we find out that particular spiritual purpose of your life?
That's the journey, that's what you're here to do.
So most of us, I was reading about depression today. Like I want to talk about depression in some time. So I was reading about it, what exactly beyond this psychological definition. Most of the places you will find these 5 symptoms classify you as this depressive and this clinical depression. So beyond all this depression and the symptoms and the stigma attached to it, and why people don't recognize themselves as depressed and why they don't work on it, what I find interesting is this depression itself, it's an inner journey. So it's a tool actually which is given in some form or the other. Maybe it is misguided tool,
it's an altered state of consciousness actually.
Misconstrued tool. You're depressed. Now what are you going to do? You don't want to eat, you don't want to work, you don't want to talk to someone. Now you have lots of time. What do? You go deeper into
go inwards
and look at that journey. So are there any more tools like this? This depression again still is a debatable thing, whether that is
because depression, if not used wisely or if it not understood correctly, it can really lead to like the absolute end of it, which is suicide. Like that's the end of depression, right? Like you can go
so you are not able to know yourself based on whatever tools you have,
and you just feel like, okay, I don't want this existence anymore, like I just want to exit this particular body, right? So I'm not going to recommend using depression as a tool. Like people watching this shouldn't say, oh, let me be depressed now and let me find out who I am, right?
It doesn't happen that way.
How do you really start? So I also was thinking, like when we decided we're going to record this particular topic today, I was thinking of what are the different things that I did to learn more about myself, right? Like where did this knowledge, like it's so clear now what is the rest of my journey on this planet all about to me, right? Right now it is clear.
You're lucky. So you're hardworking.
Maybe I've really worked hard towards finding that answer, right? So it's not like my life is without chaos, or it's not like my life is stress-free. And today somebody left a 1-star shitty review on Google.
Who is not even our client.
Who's not even our client, has no idea of what we do. Simply new moon lunatism comes and then they go and write something. And I read that, I mean, we care so much about the work we do. There's so much love and authenticity and like deep knowledge, and then someone goes and leaves some shit like that, and I'll be... So I do experience nervous system dysregulation in that moment, right? So it's not like my life is stress-free after having found my soul purpose. But because I found that answer, I can look at this stuff and not really get impacted beyond that 1 or 2 moments. Even 1 or 2 breaths don't get wasted in that, right?
Yes.
So that is really why I say that this self-knowledge is really important for you to be able to navigate this. Because once you know who you are, I know I'm unstoppable. I know I'm not going to stop building Thrive. Like, I'm going to build it to a point, like I've shared this even in the core team, what I see as the future of iThrive. I know I'm super resilient. I know I'm anti-fragile, right? So I know all of that about me, beyond which, like, even that super resilient, anti-fragile, all these are labels. What I know is I was created there. I have to go back there. क्या करोगे उसके बीच में? 1-star Google review is what in comparison to that particular path, right? So it really allows me to navigate life very easily. How did I come to that answer? Lots of work has gone into that. Like you say, it's really hard work, right?
So are there any tools like
Yes.
you can share with the audience?
So one is evolutionary astrology is a really great tool because it tells you a lot about your patterns. To some degree, if you really find a good interpreter or somebody who's like really gifted at doing charts and all that, it can also help you understand what your soul purpose in this particular lifetime is. It can help you understand why certain past patterns happen, and also understand where are you supposed to shift now. So evolutionary astrology is a great tool. The second tool is meditation, but not meditation. So people think meditation is all about stopping thoughts and all, no? But it's not that. So meditation is really basically about connecting. It could be many things. One is like you connect deeper with your body, understand all the information that's held in your body. So different meditation work for different things. So meditation really is a second good tool that I found really helped me a lot in terms of understanding this. Third is I often go on this journey of looking at these 13 areas of life, which we also use with our clients, and asking myself the question of like, where do I want to go, right? So just doing that kind of intentional self-assessment allows me to start seeing myself a little more clearly. What else? What other tools have I used? Like really asking the question to the one who created me, right? Like, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? How do I align myself more to divine will, right? Like, you have a certain will for humanity. What is your plan for humanity, right? Like, I just asked, like, it's like, if I picked up the phone and called you and asked you these questions, I really have these imaginary conversations in my head.
It's a wrong number.
Like, I just ask, saying like, okay, what have you planned for humanity, right? And like, what is your will for humanity? What is your design for humanity? How can I assist in that? Like, how can I help you in this particular design for humanity? What are the skills and knowledges? Like, what upgrades or what updates should I have to help you? Like the one who created me. So I ask these questions. So this is something I have, like, in the morning.
So that is for the bigger soul purpose. What do you do to figure out this human level purposes? This is what you're supposed to do now. This is your life.
So I'm just telling how I found knowledge about my own self, right? So these are the tools that really gave me deeper and deeper insights about myself. Altered states of consciousness. Breath work is one way to do that. There are other plant-based medicines that allow you to experience altered states of consciousness. So going into altered states of consciousness with this intention of wanting to understand who you are will really open up that and help you understand. Also, one more thing you can do is if you can, like, start looking back. See, this lifetime most of us remember. Past lifetime most people don't remember. But even this lifetime, if you can just start going and looking at your life in detail, like if you can start remembering in as much detail as possible from the time you remember, earliest memory you have of childhood till today, right? Just start looking at your life. Maybe like someone watching a movie without really, emotions will come up, memories have emotions attached to them. So I'm not saying you can be totally emotionless, but like if you start objectively going back and just trying to remember your entire life, what will happen is you'll start seeing patterns play out, and you'll start seeing patterns that like gave you joy as a child, patterns that caused you pain and heartbreak and like hurt and wounded you as a child, as an adult. You'll start seeing patterns in relationships, you'll start seeing patterns in your behavior, what excites you, what doesn't excite you. So you'll start seeing patterns about yourself that will start giving you some more knowledge about you. So that, I think, that introspection, and you can use like a meditative music just to sit and do this. And just like go deeper and just start seeing who you were, seeing how you reacted to certain things. That will give you insights about yourself. So what happens is, it's okay to be a little self-obsessed. The world makes it seem that it's wrong to be obsessed about yourself, right? And we've heard stories of this narcissists, not narcissistic people, but there was this Roman or Greek guy, Narcissus, who was like going by and he saw his own reflection in a pool, and he fell so much in love with that reflection that he couldn't move from that spot. So narratives like this make you think it's wrong to be obsessed with yourself. It's wrong to like think about yourself. Really, there are narratives that make you feel guilty if you're thinking about yourself. But you're here really to learn about yourself. If you don't learn about yourself, you can't really be of too much value to the world. The world will misuse you or abuse you or use. That's why there is so much focus on not making you think about yourself. Now, because the minute you start thinking about yourself, someone else can't use you for their own purposes.
So true.
So you have to really think about yourself, the stories you've been told, who you are, everything. So one is you're going into the past and looking at yourself, and then you become aware of what is it that you're really great at, what are the things you really like doing, and then you start thinking of the future. Where do you want to go?
Exactly, based on the information
easy,
that
like,
you
this
have
is
created.
not spiritual, this is just 3D level stuff.
Yes.
It's easy.
So it is based on the database you have created of good things, bad things. You pick up the good things, what made you feel good, and maybe you continue doing that in future. And in the process, you find those small life purposes of a human life, and eventually it will lead to the bigger purpose.
I also found therapy, like, this internal family systems kind of therapeutic practices really useful, because our mind is made up of multiple parts. This entire, the entire approach of psychology is that we have a mono mind, single mind. And you're supposed to have a single mind. The minute you show up like multiple kinds of minds, it's a problem.
Another label.
It's a problem, right? And then like in absolutely fragmented, traumatized states, that can become like a multiple personality disorder or like a bipolar schizophrenic thing, right? So that is like absolute clinical manifestation. But all of us have conversations, like there are at least 10-20 people who are talking to you over the day, different voices, different parts of you. So there are different parts of you that are making up your mind.
Yes.
And these parts are made using your soul energy only. These are parts of you. So sometimes having a witness, having a mirror really helps you in understanding all the parts that are there inside, because some might be hidden from you, right? They might be so deeply repressed in your subconscious that only a mirror shining enough light can bring this up. So I found that kind of therapy. So not talk therapy, not just like having a session with a psychologist, but like these kind of deeper interventional therapeutic conversations where you're looking at who you are, the parts of you. That also is an excellent tool if you want to learn about yourself. For the clients that we work with, I think a large part of my time goes into this, like helping them figure out all the parts of who they are, and that self-knowledge eventually makes it easier to do the work with them.
Yes. So we also work with that 12 areas of growth. That also allows us 13 areas of growth. That also allows us to at least figure out what am I supposed to do in next few years time or few months time, based on it's total. It's practically 3D level stuff, which may lead to a bigger breakthrough.
Spiritual awakening itself.
Yeah, bigger breakthrough. So I always used to say that there are two ways of transforming your life. There is one traumatic way of doing it, that you take something and just cut it off, and maybe you will start regrowing from that place onwards. There is one step-by-step approach, what she has mentioned, like take your time, breathe, and then work on one thing after another. Maybe
even your body can give you so many insights into who you are.
So maybe you can work on it one step at a time, and then slowly the transformation happens. Both seems to work, but the traumatic experience is, again, it's for many people, it can be a traumatic
It's
thing.
too traumatic. You might not even want to live after that.
Exactly.
Right?
You may not want to regrow, or you see the futility of regrowing again. Why, if I have to cut it again, what is the point? So there are approaches, there are ways in which you can transform yourself, you can find out. But the fundamental thing, the desire to know more, the desire to find out about yourself, that has to be there. If it is not present, nothing will make sense, nothing will work.
think that desire is present in most of us. It gets stifled.
So the society has given us that template. This is how you're supposed to be. This is your purpose. This is what you're made of. Everyone, like all religious purposes are given, and all your even the 3D level purposes are given. So everything is there. So people, we have been programmed not to think. Like the philosopher I follow, I learn a lot of things from him. He said people have been made to not to think. So you should just ask. Indirectly, we have told them, don't think.
Don't think.
Do whatever has been told to you. Don't question. Don't ask.
So that's why self-knowledge becomes important, right? Like if you ask this question of who am I and what am I doing here, you will automatically start rejecting things that are being pushed upon you as somebody else's conditions, belief systems and programs. And no one can manipulate you, right?
Yes.
If you do not know yourself, you are very, very easy to manipulate. You're very, very easy to program. Because you're a blank slate for anyone to come and put their code and type and say, oh, output should be this. This is the app I want. If you say that, oh, this is my code, and your code is not allowed to enter unless together we are going to create something of value for each other, you will not allow that interference to happen.
Yes.
That's why self-knowledge is important, because you will become, like one of the words I really like using is unfuckwithable, right? No one can mess with you once you know who you are. They can try, they can attempt to poke at you, do this, do that, but overall you're not going to get messed, right? So the tools I spoke of are the ones that really work for me. How did you learn about yourself?
I don't know, it was trauma, as you might be aware of. Like you did it like step by step. I landed into one place and then moved to another place and then moved to third place. And in the process, slowly I started learning. But more than anything else, the process to know more about started with a traumatic experience. Like it could have been a normal experience for anyone who is seeking clarity, who is seeking knowledge. So the trauma leads to from one thing to another, which led to another thing, and that is how that self-discovery process started. You helped a lot in that process to, come to you gave me a channel. Okay, this is how you should go and look. Maybe you will find something. And what I realize is, again, not very, sometimes it feels, okay, I am here, what am I doing here? That question keeps coming, that question keeps propping up, because the bigger purpose looks something else. It doesn't match with any of these smaller purposes on this planet. Nothing is leading to that purpose. So I have to keep...
Why do you say that nothing is leading to that purpose?
I do things, but the purpose which is, like, I am supposed to be a traveler, right? Okay. So what those human experiences that I am gathering here has no ultimate meaning to that purpose.
Did you land here by accident then?
I am sure. I am 100% sure of that. That is a knowledge I have got after years of research about myself. So I think it was an accident, and I think I was not supposed to be here at all. But since I am here, I was told to do this thing. But anyway, so that apart, I am in full control of my faculties. I have not lost it. I am in full control of my mind, and my desire to integrate with something bigger than this body has to offer. That purpose is still there, integrating with something bigger than even unimaginable, what we can only think of, not even think of. So that is where the purpose is, how we are going to go about achieving it, it's a question. Whenever I find answer, I'll definitely would like to share with you, because that is something I'm searching for last many years, and maybe even before that, I don't know. So a lot of things are happening. Magda. Why you're looking at me like this? Okay, nothing is coming out. This is it. Nothing else. So my self-knowledge, it stuck a dead end at this point where I realized, okay, there is no higher purpose, or there is no desire. Then I work backwards. What all things I need to do to have as many variety of varied experiences on this planet, of all sorts of emotion, all sorts of things, all sorts of sensation or emotions this planet has to offer. And I think my journey is going in that direction, like experiencing things and helping other people create things. In fact, in one of that vision diagram of mine with lots of air, I have written, okay, I'm going to be a catalyst. So a lot of chemical engineering comes into my thinking and discussion. Okay, I'm going to be a catalyst. Catalyst is the one which promotes the reaction without actually taking part in it. So I want to become a catalyst, and that appeals to me, that resonates with me. Okay, I want to be a catalyst in people's lives so that they can get transformed without it actually changing me. Maybe I'll know more about myself, but it won't change me per se. I will still remain the same. I will be able to act as a catalyst in many more things to come. And it sounds soothing. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. And maybe that is what my purpose on this planet is. And I keep doing that in some way or the other, in small ways, in big ways, or whatever ways which are coming my way.
But that goes also then opposite of like your desire to create flow and have as less entropy as possible, because catalysts are explosive, right? Like catalysts can cause intense reactions and explosions, and
no, they always cause controlled reaction. There is no intense reaction. There is never an uncontrolled reaction with a catalyst present.
Okay.
So catalysts are meant to give direction or give impetus to the reaction, but it doesn't cause the uncontrolled one. It is meant to provide that small bit of extra surface area, or maybe extra something to the reaction which is already taking place. And then when you take out, you put them into another. So catalyst doesn't get damaged. It can get poisoned, it can get spoiled, but it doesn't damage. You can just clean it up and put it into another reaction. It's proper chemical engineering. Sorry, that is also part of self-knowledge. Learn chemical engineering, that is going to give you so much idea about yourself you can't even imagine. And especially apply those chemical engineering principles to your life. Right from heat transfer, mass transfer, stoichiometry, chemical reaction engineering, you talk of anything, I am 100% sure everything can be applied to your life. So that is a self-knowledge I have learned.
Alright, so from chemicals...
I think that is why I got into chemical engineering in the first place. Like all was design.
Yeah, for me, that's why I went, like I was born to a nurse, I was born to a man.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a healer, right?
Supposed to, no,
Yeah,
but like, so that's what I'm saying. Na? For 3 years, I thought that was my like purpose, to heal the planet, to heal the world. Over the last year, it's become even more clearer that my true purpose is just to gather all of me back and just leave. Now, in that gathering all of me, I seem to kind of shine more and more light for other people to be able to do that for themselves, and like show them that what their own path could be like and their own journey could be like, right? And I'm just showing that much. I'm not living their life for them, and I'm not saying, oh, you should do this exact thing or whatever. I think that's what a healer's like. Catalysts are getting that journey started faster.
Yes.
Healers are showing that, oh, these are the probable paths that you could take, and here is some of my light. You can borrow my light if your journey is looking too dark. Hold it for some time. See that you can generate light on your own. Give them the tools to kind of create their own light for their own journey, so that they'll know how to switch it on, and then they're free to go on their own path. No? That's what. So initially 2017, that light was just about like understanding the body. Okay, here are your blood tests, here is what you should eat. From there, that light has grown now to the extent of helping someone understand, okay, like how do I deeply connect with my soul itself and find my own path. So as I grow in my self-knowledge, I'm able to offer that same degree of light to someone else who is willing to take that light without abusing it. So that's really what I've learned about myself so far. And the tools I've used are all of the tools that I mentioned earlier, right? Like meditation, breath work,
knowing more,
right? Like going meditate, like introspecting, retrospecting, going into past, imagining the future, asking the question, connecting with divine itself, asking the question that who am I, why was I created, what is my purpose here, how can I serve you better,
accessing altered state of consciousness,
going into altered states of consciousness, really very important, looking at your reality.
Yes.
Not checking out of your reality, right? Like looking into your day-to-day reality and like seeing, because what you see outside is a reflection of what is inside. So if your reality sucks, it's because inside you've not done enough work to clean it up. So I use my reality, like that word reality check is really what I do. I check my reality, right? So if I'm struggling for something, I check which part of me has kind of gone out of synchronicity, out of alignment, that it's creating this kind of struggle. Sometimes I might have been too afraid to kind of set a boundary, which is what like happened last year, right? That's where the trauma really started from, because I was so afraid of setting certain boundaries. So sometimes it could be my own fears that are getting in the way of my ease of life. But the knowledge is that, right? Like the knowledge is understanding where was I afraid, right? So my reality showed me what were my limitations. My reality showed me the things I was afraid of. Then my work was to eliminate those fears, put in enough tools and actions in place. So my reality always shows me where I could be unaware, unconscious, not really knowing more about myself. And I use reality checks big time to really figure out what's going on. Like currently all the attacks that are happening on iThrive on multiple fronts, I still don't know the answer why, right? I've not come to the answer why, but I do know energetically something is off that is allowing this to happen. Maybe I'm just being shown the vulnerabilities of like iThrive as a company before we leap to the next level, so that those vulnerabilities can be fixed, and then we really become like nothing can damage us kind of a place. But reality is showing me something, and it is my job to not hide from it, to not distract myself with Netflix or alcohol or smoking or drugs, to say this is happening, it's really shitty that it's happening, but what can I do in my power, where am I lacking, what do I not know that I should fix. So
I think that sums up very well.
Yeah.
You took over the discussion.
I didn't take over. You asked me the questions and I answered.
Yes.
You started with a joke that I didn't understand. What was that joke?
It's okay.
No!
Okay, we'll know more about ourselves. In fact, knowing more about ourselves will help you know more about yourself too. Keep watching us. I mean, keep doing it. Keep doing your introspection. Go inwards. Find out what you're meant to do. I mean, it's a superpower to know your true purpose on this planet. You can achieve anything. Nothing. You will not feel okay. This I can't do. That is the superpower of knowing more about yourself.
You become unstoppable. You really become unstoppable once you know.
Having that self-knowledge, and I'm sure all of you are enjoying listening to us, and keep sending us your feedback, comments, share, like whatever social media stuff that we are supposed to do. And thank you very much. We will see you in the next episode with one more key, one more superpower, how to navigate on this planet in this episode of Embracing the Human Experience.
Bye-bye until then.
See you.